It's like this is the clearest like fixed fight you're ever gonna see. Look at this guy holding his hands up and watch. Look at that. He like literally shows him his chin, like, and he goes down. It's so fake. Look at, I mean, he's got nothing. It's like a guy who just learned boxing yesterday.
World title in everyone's imagination. That's the heavyweight champ. You were here. Everyone else was here. But since then, the feeling has been Joshua makes all this money fighting anyway, 30 million pounds, whatever it is. Why should he take 40 or 50 to fight Wilder when he's making against anybody? He can make 30, 40 million pounds, whatever it is.
No fantasy contract, just reality. You know, bringing our work to the table and bargaining and negotiating what we're worth and making this fight.
It's like this is the clearest, like, fixed fight you're ever gonna see. Look at this guy holding his hands. Ever watch? Let's do it. Oh, you're like literally shows him his chin, like it goes down. It's so fake. Look at, he's got nothing. It's like a guy who just learned boxing yesterday. World title in everyone's imagination. That's the heavyweight champ. You were here, everyone else was here. But since then, the feeling has been Joshua makes all this money fighting anyway. 30 million pounds, whatever it is. Why should he take 40 or 50 to fight Wilder when he's making against anybody? He can make 30, 40 million pounds, whatever it is. This ends with lawsuits, whispered careers, scorched.
And that's why Jake Paul is so relevant, because he's found a way to bypass promoters and make money in the boxing rings instead of being a prisoner to the promoters. Even though he didn't fight anybody, he's about to fight Anthony Joshua, and we'll see what happens with that. Anthony Joshua should knock him into tomorrow because he's the bigger fighter with incredible power, but he's got a glass jaw. So if Jake Paul catches him, who knows?
And a heavyweight legacy staring at a crater. And now I'm ripping us backward, because if you blink, you miss the moment boxing's spine snaps. And you need to see how it all spiraled from a quiet room to a public implosion, because the final consequence is bigger than a knockout, bigger than money, bigger than pride. It's about whether anything you watch is even real anymore. And not. This can't be real, except it is, and that's the problem.
Fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jay, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start, but as we saw, tonight, Jake has spirit.
There's people out there that are going, Jake deserves credit, this is amazing, he's gone 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. He hasn't gone 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua, he spent 5 rounds on his bloody bike, and the other diving for cover. Come on, let's get real about what happened last night. The dude basically used the greedy to hoodwink the stupid. Fair play to the kid, man. He made 50 million plus. I mean, someone's just sent me a message saying that they did 90 million. Respect. There's people out there saying, oh, he kept getting dropped multiple times and getting up. No, he didn't. Stop lying.
Problem. That's why Jake Paul is so relevant, because he's found a way to bypass promoters and make money in the boxing rings instead of being a prisoner to the promoters. Even though he didn't fight anybody, he's about to fight Anthony Joshua, and we'll see what happens with that. Anthony Joshua should knock him into tomorrow because he's the bigger fighter with incredible power, but he's got a glass jaw, so if Jake Paul catches it, who knows?
AJ, do you think Jake is on your level whatsoever?
No. No.
No, okay.
Respectfully. Because it's clear. If I say yes, I'm gonna be lying to myself, and I can't lie to myself. It's not that he can't compete,
right,
but when you talk about, for example, music, how many albums I've put out, how many mixtapes I've put out, he just hasn't got the body of work I've got in boxing.
Gotcha.
The moment the story surfaced, it didn't sound like the usual noise that surrounds. I'm telling you right now, this wasn't trash talk, this wasn't hype, this was a door cracking open, and behind it was influence, leverage, and a suggestion so toxic it could rot the whole division. Because when Anthony Joshua speaks without theatrics and drops a line that sounds casual but lands like a brick, that's not noise, that's a warning shot, and you felt it.
Or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on What I could have done better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are
2. Don't lie, because your stomach tightened before your brain caught up. Spirit. Here's where it twists, because the moment it surfaced, it didn't come screaming, it crept. It slithered out in a setting where masks fall off, and that's what scares me. Because this wasn't someone chasing headlines, this was a heavyweight king explaining why certain fights feel wrong, why certain doors never open, and why money keeps knocking louder than integrity. And tell me you don't hear that. Not
suing Anthony Joshua. And the reason has everybody side-eyeing this whole situation. From what's being said, Jake is claiming Anthony Joshua went off script. And when I say off script, I mean there was supposedly a no knockout clause, or at least very specific fight rules, and Joshua hitting Jake so hard that his jaw got dislocated in 2 places was not part of that agreement. Jake basically saying that punch crossed the line from just boxing into what he's calling malicious intent. Now,
from Jake Paul's perspective, the silence or
Jake Paul gets knocked out predictably by Anthony Joshua in tonight's fight. Now, I am torn on this fight. When it first started and Joshua was giving it, I'm thinking, oh, here we go again. It's the Tyson fight again. We're talking about 2 fighters who are pretending. It looked like a Rocky fight at the start. Joshua was afraid to let go. He was just like tapping. Let Jake get a few punches and everything. And then I'm thinking, hang on, I'm torn between 2 ways.
Messy. If Jake is really saying this fight was supposed to follow a script, then what does that say about the event, the Vegas crowd, the betting money, all of that? Because that opens up a whole different conversation nobody wants to touch. He's allegedly claiming Anthony Joshua could be on the hook for something like $20 million for violating the rules and going beyond what was agreed upon. But let's be real for a second. This is boxing. People get hit. Jaws get broken. That's literally the risk you take stepping into the ring.
Have a section where the 2 parties are going to meet, talk, discuss, have this. Just watch this video.
Mentally.
It's already written.
Where?
In the history books, brother.
In yours, not mine.
No, it is. You'll see. There's only one God, and God wrote it.
You see with Jake, what I learned about Jake is that he's a mental person. This is my observation. Not only the physical aspects of training, but the way he thinks, meditation, breath work. If I can break his soul and I can break his mentality.
Getting closer. The shock is that power now thinks it can negotiate outcomes, that legacy can be penciled, erased, redrawn, and when that idea even brushes against a fighter built on sanctioned pain and earned scars, something breaks, because fighting isn't content, and the second you treat it like content, you invite chaos. And yeah, I'm saying it, someone out there thought Joshua could be managed like a brand, AJ. I can already hear the excuses, miscommunication, jokes taken wrong, strategy talk, but listen to the tone, listen to the restraint, because the calm is the tell, and when a man refuses the circus and just states a boundary, that's louder than any accusation. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. If this was offered here, who else heard it? Who else nodded? Who else stayed quiet? This is where the psychological knife twists, because the sport survives on uncertainty, on the idea that once the bell rings, anything can happen. And if you poison that belief, you don't just cheapen a night, you devalue years. And every fan who ever screamed at a screen feels it subconsciously. That creeping doubt, that whisper asking if the dice were loaded before the gloves touched. Suing Anthony.
Was he carrying Jake Paul? Was he carrying Jake Paul because of the script with the mentality of knocking him out before time? Or was Joshua not wanting to potentially hurt this guy? Like hurt him? Like he was throwing single punches, sometimes the odd 1 or 2s, You know what I mean? The first 4 rounds, you're talking like 8 punches to 5 punches. And it was like, I was thinking now, is there some sort of script?
The Jake Paul fight script just got leaked and the details are absolutely insane. This script goes back to the initial promotion where he was supposed to fight a super underweight Gervonta Davis. But we now learn this fight was never supposed to happen. The plan was always to fight Anthony Joshua, but they started with a villain arc by positioning him against someone 70 pounds lighter. So when he goes to fight someone heavier instead, he looks like a hero underdog instead of the initial side. That's just the beginning. The script for the actual fight is set up for it to go the distance and Paul to be awarded the win by decision. As a result,
this episode also underscored the power imbalance.
Joshua? From Jake Paul's perspective, the silence, or don't get it twisted, this isn't about hating crossover money, it's about control. It's about narrative ownership. It's about someone thinking they can steer violence like a storyboard. And when that suggestion hits a fighter who built leverage the hard way, the refusal becomes the headline. And yeah, that refusal scared people, because it means not everyone is for sale. Jake Paul gets knocked out. I'm torn between two ways. As the discussion spread, other fighters and analysts weighed in indirectly. Now pause with me just for a second, because this is the part that makes my skin crawl. The aftermath wasn't denial, it was fog. And fog is where speculation breeds, where clips get replayed, where fans connect dots that promoters pray stay disconnected. And I'm telling you right now, there's more sitting under this, more that hasn't been said, because saying it would light a fuse. That's literally the risk you take stepping into the ring. You think the reaction split was random? Nah, it was tribal, because one side needs the spectacle to be clean, and the other needs the sport to be sacred. And when those worlds collide, the fallout isn't loud at first. It's whispers, it's cautious statements, it's people choosing words like they're walking through glass, and that's telling you everything you need to know. I have a section where the two parties are going to meet, talk, discuss, have this, just watch this. I already read we're in the history books, brother. No, it is. Here's a time bomb you're not ready for, because once the idea of a script enters the bloodstream, every punch gets questioned, every slow round gets side-eyed, every strategic lull feels sinister, and I watched people re-watch fights like detectives, and that's not entertainment, that's mistrust, and mistrust spreads faster than any promo could ever hope to. He was like, I was thinking, now is this some sort of script? And ripple effects extended beyond boxing circles. I keep thinking about what wasn't said, about how Joshua didn't posture, didn't grandstand, didn't milk it, and that restraint makes the implication heavier, because men chasing clout don't move like that. Men protecting lines they won't cross do. And if you're uncomfortable right now, good, because comfort is how this stuff survives. This episode also underscored the power imbalance. Let me drop another uneasy thought, because if this was casually floated to a global star, imagine the pressure on fighters without leverage, without platforms, without escape routes. Imagine the quiet deals, the nods, the contracts written thick with ambiguity, and tell me with a straight face that none of that exists, because if you do, you're lying to yourself. And yeah, I hear the legal chatter, the numbers, the threats, but boxing has always been dangerous. Bodies break, jaws crack. That's the bargain. And the second someone reframes that risk as a violation of a plan, the sport flinches, because now the ring isn't a proving ground, it's a liability, and that shift is terrifying. Another pause, breathe, because this isn't done, not even close. The networks are watching, the sponsors are recalculating, the young fighters are taking notes, and the older ones are wondering how many times they were tested without realizing it. And somewhere someone is sweating because a boundary got drawn publicly, and they don't know how to step around it. I'll leave you unsettled on purpose, because there are too many gaps, too many careful words, too many people acting like this is normal, and it's not. And if you think this story is finished, you're not paying attention, because the next reveal won't come with a warning. It'll drop suddenly, messy, and when it does, boxing might not recognize itself anymore.